First off, I'd like to say Warhammer 40k has a strange canon policy in that the narrators are all untrustworthy, so they encourage you to make up your own canon. But because of that, I'm going to use all my sources to try and convince you I'm right. Since the narrators might be wrong, someone can point to another narrator and say, well, this proves you wrong. Your narrative is biased. The Imperium of Man is actually weaker or stronger. And since I haven't dug too deep in the lore, I haven't really read into the upper and lower limits. But let's begin. The Imperium of Man is a huge powerhouse in the Warhammer 40k universe. In terms of planet numbers, they own 1 million to 2 million planets. For reference, page 134 of the 6th edition. In terms of spaceship numbers, the fleet sent for the Great Crusade had more than 1,000 battleships. Not small ships. Big ships. There's a difference. Just the big ships. There was 1,000 of them. And each of these things had the firepower to destroy continents. According to Rogue Trader, page 315, the combined warship fleets make up 90% of the ships in the Imperium, with the battle fleets and civil ships making up the rest. Rather than count up the ships held by others, which are implied to be small, let's limit it to ships of the line. The FFG books indicate the average sector caps off at about 200 worlds, with a medium of about 100, with a fleet of 50 to 75 ships of the line, and 2 to 3 times their number in escorts. Probably not more than 6 full. 1 million worlds, with an average sector size of 120 worlds, is about 8,300 sectors and 400,000 to 650,000 ships of the line, with maybe 2 million escorts. So 3 to 5 million combat ships is probably a reasonable approximation, not based on outliers, with the maximum being 10 million combat ships. This would make total Imperium shipping about 30 to 50 million, with a maximum again of 100 million. If we assume ship distributions resemble medieval population distributions, reasonable given the distances and fluff involved, this agrees with the fluff about frontier worlds seeing ships once a century, while major worlds see a constant stream of traffic. In terms of spaceship firepower, various visuals of various exterminatus. In terms of spaceship firepower, visuals of various exterminatuses demonstrate 100 to 150 Territon range firepower. They also have torpedoes that can pull ship into the warp, and virus bombs that turn everything into flammable goop. And I know I botched my pronunciations on exterminatus. In terms of speed, the warp is inherently unpredictable. Sometimes ships arrive before they left, others it takes weeks or months. In subliminal combat, the book Salvation's Reach shows they move at significant fractions of light speed. In terms of army numbers, according to page 141 of the 6th edition, they recruit billions per day, so it's safe to assume high numbers of army personnel. Ground combat for the Imperium is far above our own. Their weapons are generally far more powerful than ours. For example, the simple laze, or lasgun, can cut limbs off at close range. They have giant, shielded war machines capable of laying waste to continents. In terms of range, in the book Salvation's Reach, combat ranges are at least 500,000 kilometers. But the Imperium of Man does have some weaknesses. Its communication system and response time is slow. It's a giant bureaucracy. Entire planets can go missing without them noticing, although that's mostly due to the other greater threats they have to face. And while they can adapt to new threats, it takes some time. They also have very slow production systems, with their biggest ships taking hundreds of years to replace. In conclusion, the Imperium of Man is a huge powerhouse. They have vast numbers of ships and soldiers, and are well prepared against attack. Their ships carry firepower sufficient to burn planets, in some cases cracking them. They have had constant war for thousands of years. Their ships take only a year to cross the galaxy, but they are slow to react, slow to adapt, and slow to rebuild. This was my channel trailer. I'll be doing videos on futuristic universes once a week to be uploaded Saturday or Sunday. My policies are that if a calculation is done from the canon, it's pretty much canon, unless it's contested by actual canon, saying it's not. And during an unexplained inconsistency, the more powerful showing will be the one we accept, again, unless there is something to dispute that. In the future, we shall see sci-fi nations do battle with each other, the setting for which you will choose. Again, I will accept viewer suggestions in the comments. On top of that, I will also do a series on animals from the sci-fi shows. Perhaps have them fight as well. I plan to do the Galactic Empire next week, and the third week I shall do the Borg from Star Trek, and the fourth I will do the Earth Alliance from Babylon 5. And after that, you will decide which nation I'll do next.